In the Union Budget of 2019, the government introduced the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, a liquidity support for the farmers in the form of 3 installments across the year, totaling rupees 6,000. The scheme, total of rupees 75,000 crore of which has been put aside for the farmers in India, is now showing results more than a year later. To discuss more about the implementation and the success of this program, I have with me Arihant. Hi, Arihant. Arihant, so walk us through the success of the scheme. It's been a year since it's been launched. The farmers are now being credited with the said money in their bank account. So, how is it really working out on the ground?
So there is a recent study that was conducted on this scheme, I think first of its kind, where it analyzed the impact of the scheme and how it was implemented. So it found three things. First, it wanted to analyze. It looked at three things. First, it wanted to know how this scheme was implemented, whether there was any bias in selection of the beneficiaries or not. Second, it wanted to understand the spending patterns of the farmers who got the money. And third, it wanted to know whether there was difference in spending patterns between farmers who were more informed compared to the ones who were less informed. How do you know whether the farmer is more informed or less informed? Basically, they looked at the farmers who were connected to Krishi Vigyan Kendras and compared them to those who were not connected to those centers. So basically, those who are connected to these KVKs, Kendras, they have more knowledge, more access to modern technology. At least the information is there. Now, on these three things, since the study was only conducted among 1,400 farmers in Uttar Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh was the biggest beneficiaries of the scheme. 28% of the total beneficiaries came from the state. So, what they found in this study was that there was 1/3 of the farmers had already got the money within the first 3 months of the implementation of the scheme. So, as you know, this scheme was implemented just before the Lok Sabha election, and the study was conducted around July, August. So, around that time. So, it had 3-4 months had passed, and that was the period of analysis. Now, they did not find any evidence of selection bias as far as beneficiaries were concerned. There was no selection on the basis of caste, religion, or other things, which usually happens when the scheme is top down and people at the bottom try to select the beneficiaries or at least send the money to people. So there was nothing of that sort because the money got directly transferred into the bank accounts. Second, and more important, is how the spending was done by the farmers. So what they found was that 50% of the farmers who got the money during peak agriculture season, spent it on agriculture activities. 60% of the farmers, or slightly more than that, spend the money on non-agriculture activities if they got the money during off season. Okay, because there are 3 installments, right? So you get, I think, couple of installments you get during peak season and 1 installment you get during off season. So that is what they found. And one interesting thing in this is what they analyzed was that farmers who were more dependent on agriculture for their livelihood were more likely to spend it on agriculture activities. Okay, which makes sense. Third thing, whether more informed farmers were more likely to adopt modern technologies because of this new access to credit. Now, what the study found was that the farmers who were connected to KVKs and thus were better informed were 36% more likely to spend it on modern cultivars, that is seeds. So they invested in better seeds. Okay, they were more likely, 36% more likely to spend it on that. So the study is interesting because it shows us that it has the great potential, and the study concludes with that it has the great potential to incentivize farmers to invest in better agri-tech, so their productivity finally increases, which is the bane of our agriculture system, right? So that is how it is working according to this study.
Right. Arihant, one thing the government has been insisting, especially the Prime Minister himself, since 2017 is that they want to double the farmer income by 2022. And you spoke very elaborately about the investment in technology, which is being made possible due to the scheme. So, do you see one of the intended consequences of the scheme is the doubling of the farmer's income by 2022? Can we really achieve that target?
Currently, given the growth of the last 4-5 years since the target was set, 2015-16 was the base year, and 2020-23 was the target year for doubling farmer incomes. Given the growth we have had, I don't think we are going to achieve even 50% of that target. Because remember, last time it took us 20 years, more than 20 years to double farmer incomes, and we are trying to do that in 7 years. So of course the target initially itself was such a big deal. So whether we can still achieve it, it depends. This PM-Kisan, before this was announced, it looked highly unlikely, but given this 75,000 crore per year, and for the next 4 years, if you take that, then we kind of start approaching that 50%, more than 50% of that target. But can we double it? Can we at least get near to it? I think we can if we include fertilizer and other food subsidies, which are to the tune of 2 lakh crores, and send that money directly as cash transfers to farmers. Then I think we will be able to reach that target, and that's what many policymakers are also suggesting, that if you divert that money, which is going into wasteful expenditure, if you divert that and send it directly to farmers and their bank accounts, then as this study shows, people invest in better seeds, better agri-tech. So if more money is going, this is only 6,000 rupees, which is nothing, right? And if more money is going, then they will be able to invest it in more productive, do more productive investments. So I think not only we will be able to reach that, close to the target of doubling farmer incomes, the next doubling of farmer incomes will be far easier and far more comfortable achieving that target if we take that route.
Right. Thank you so much for those insights, Arihant. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tushar.